360Hz monitors have been out since 2020, but if you're a competitive gamer that plays first-person shooters especially, then you are probably wondering, the new ZOWIE monitor leh? Where? Here lah, because today we'll be reviewing the ZOWIE XL2566K to hopefully answer a few questions. Number 1, why did die also must use TN panel? Number 2, is 360Hz really necessary? And finally, should you actually upgrade to this monitor over the XL2546K? Let's just get right into it. I'm not gonna preach about how more than 50% of professional players actually use ZOWIE monitors, including Ye, who is probably the best Valorant player right now. If you're here, you already know that, right? But even with other brands releasing 360Hz monitors more than 2 years ago, it seems that people are still sticking to ZOWIE monitors, especially for FPS titles, including Ali from Optimum Tech that actually made a video about why he eventually switched back to a 240Hz monitor, namely the XL2546K. Hint, motion blur. Hint, hint, Diag Plus. Anyways, this ZOWIE XL2566K is the long-awaited 360Hz refresh rate flagship to their current lineup, and it's priced at 2,949 ringgit or $600, and it's 30% more expensive than the 240Hz XL2546K. This monitor comes with a 24.5-inch 1080p TN panel in a 16:9 aspect ratio with a peak brightness of 320 nits, just like the older XL2546K. The only difference here, specs-wise, is the refresh rate that has been bumped up to 360Hz. And for those of you guys who are avoiding TN panels because of inferior color performance, this panel covers 96.5% of sRGB and 76.8% of Adobe RGB with an average delta E of 1.2, which is surprisingly great, even when compared to some high refresh rate IPS panels. In my opinion, it's perfectly acceptable to be doing video editing and other creative work on this monitor as long as you're not working with too color critical projects. Viewing angles are still not the greatest because this is a TN panel, but you're less likely to face those issues with this 24.5-inch screen, as your face will most likely be just maybe a foot away or a few inches away if you play FPS games. Who goes out and buy a 24-inch screen and then wishes that they can game like that so far away? Why? Cannot see anything. Might as well play on your phone. Same size see? Same. Before we dive into the actual performance with this monitor, let's just take a quick look at the design, ergonomics, and build quality. You get the same sturdy plastic chassis in dark grey that feels quite sturdy in a function over form design, with an ergonomic stand that sits on a tiny base which allows you to easily configure the monitor according to your playstyle and setup. In fact, while it might not look the most glamorous, this monitor with wings that actually help block out distractions, I'm talking about flashes, and you inconsiderate fans that use your camera flashes, it actually looks more like a professional's tool. Do you expect your Bosch drill to be blinked out? It just needs to do its job and be reliable, right? Let us talk about gaming performance then. Now, I don't have a high-speed camera to capture the difference between this monitor and the 240Hz refresh rate one, but I did notice a slightly smoother viewing experience with the 360Hz in faster-paced shooters like Overwatch while playing Tracer. The difference is less noticeable in Valorant and CSGO unless I take my eyes off the crosshair and really pay attention to the surroundings. It's not gonna blow your mind like when you upgraded from 60Hz to 144Hz, but if you play competitively against players with lightning-fast reflexes, it's going to make a difference. Something interesting to note is that ZOWIE has stopped listing the response times for their monitors. This probably has something to do with the fact that there is no universal standard test for gray-to-gray and MPRT response times. If you're interested to find out more about this topic, then feel free to check out our Technically episode on monitor response times. Though I must say, and do take this with a grain of salt, okay? Comparing gaming with a 360Hz IPS panel that I tested out in a store a couple of weeks back, this monitor will give us a slightly clearer image with less ghosting even when you turn off Diag Plus. Now, like I mentioned before, Diac and Diac Plus is ZOWIE's proprietary tech that switches off the backlight in between screen refreshes in order to reduce motion blur and prevent ghosting. The magic really happens when you flip on Diac Plus and you're presented with some of the clearest image that I've ever seen as I test it with the famous UFO test. I also find that it helps tremendously with recoil control and tracking enemies. Honestly, although I don't have the right tools to present you guys with more facts and data, I need to point out again how much more responsive and smooth this monitor feels for competitive titles over practically anything that I've tested so far. Other features that you might find helpful with this XL2566K that can also be found on other ZOWIE monitors include black equalizer, which is basically a slider for your shadows that will help you brighten dark areas, and also color vibrance, which helps you bump up the colors in games that are less saturated. Both will help you spot enemies quicker, as your eyes will be able to distinguish enemies from the background that much quicker. There's also the S switch, which allows you to access your monitor settings without fiddling with those pesky joysticks and buttons. I swear I'm not a virgin. I swear by the moon and the stars in the sky. Anyways, you can also save up to 3 profiles into your S switch, which is very helpful. Say if you train at home with one set of profiles, you can just bring this to your tournaments and then just plug it in, plug and play. That's what she said. Alternatively, if you're millennial or Gen Z, you can even export your profiles using the XL setting to share feature to, well, share your settings with your fans lah, if you got any, your friends lah, if you got any, your girlfriend lah, if you got any. I think you also don't have lah. And then they can just use it, download and install as long as they have a compatible XL series monitor from ZOWIE. I'll include my settings for Valorant in the description because it's part of my KPI. Although this video is not sponsored, but I did agree to actually put my profile as part of this review. So you're welcome. People often forget that competitive players and esports is a separate niche within the greater umbrella of gaming. If you're a gamer in general, you might prefer a higher resolution monitor or even an IPS panel with better color performance, or even a curved monitor to provide you with a more immersive gaming experience. In which case, maybe look elsewhere. But if you're a kiasu competitive player and you want every competitive advantage that your money can get you, then, well, check this out. The question you shouldn't ask is, should I go 360 Hz? The question you should ask instead is, which 360 Hz monitor should you get? With its super fast response time, superb motion blur reduction thanks to Diac Plus, as well as an array of other features that are catered towards competitive players, it is hard to argue against the ZOWIE XL2566K as the 360 Hz monitor that makes the most amount of sense. So go and get lah if you're looking at 360 Hz. It's only #cheapbuy 2,949 ringgit, and so feel free to check out the links in the description to help support us make more content like this. And that is everything I have to say about the BenQ ZOWIE XL2566K. If you thought this video was helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you see this flickering thing, it's because just now when I played with the S switch, I accidentally turned on Diac Plus. So don't complain lah, it's not the monitor problem. It's because it's too fast for my camera to capture. That's why you see this thing lah, okay? But your eyes definitely cannot see. You know why? Because your eyes are more powerful than my camera ma. See? King or not you? Happy or not? Happy, right? Happy, then subscribe lah. And don't forget to also leave a comment down below if you have any questions regarding this monitor. And also, if you find this video helpful, just like and share. And also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to not miss out on more content like this. And follow me like a stalker on TikTok, Facebook, and also Instagram. Again, my name is Shane, the BenQ ZOWIE, and I will see you when? In the next one.